Hi everybody, Christy here. I've gotten a few questions recently about our growing setup for seedlings, and rather than try to type all of that out, I thought I would just do a really quick and dirty video walking you through what we have going and how you can do it. Since I'm at home and you're at home and we're all at home, we might as well talk about fun things like starting your own seedlings this year. Um, so step one is obviously figure out what you want to grow. We can talk about that some other time if you want to. If anyone has any specific questions, let me know. But obviously, there's like two different ways to grow seeds, really. One of them is a lot of what you see here, which would be growing them from seed and then transplanting them later into a larger garden plot or into container planting or whatever you have outside for where you would end up putting these guys. But then there's also direct sow seeds, which is like the easiest way to get started. And a lot of direct sow seeds, which means you're taking the seed and putting it in the dirt in its final place where it's going to grow, whether that be a garden bed or a pot or a planter or something like that, those are really just require a place to grow, soil, sunlight, water, and you don't have to mess around with lights and things like that. And a lot of those plants are really great early crops. So lettuces, chard, kale, beets, radishes, carrots, all of those are really cold tolerant crops that do best in early spring. And kind of, you can grow them all summer long, but you can start growing them weeks before that last frost. Probably the most important thing to learn is to get to know your seed packet, because on the back of every seed packet it will tell you everything you need to grow that plant. So this is a great example of a direct sow seed. This is a lettuce farmer's market blend. It says when to sow outside. Recommended 2 to 4 weeks before average last frost. And successive sowings, so you can plant them again and again every 3 weeks. Stuff like this too, we usually think about harvests as being a one-time thing, but lettuces, all of your greens, kales, chards, collards, all of that stuff, you can harvest again and again and again. I like to go out and just give lettuce a quick haircut for whatever, if I'm gonna make a salad that night, cut out all the stuff that you need just for that salad, and then it'll all grow back in that section that you cut. So that's pretty cool. I'm cheating a little bit with these direct sow seeds because I wanted to start some lettuce. So I've got 3 planters that are going to go out onto our front porch really soon, and they're just starting to come up. We've got some cute little radishes here. So I kind of cheated a little bit just because I wanted to get some lettuce growing now so that I don't have to go to a grocery store to buy lettuce right now, because I would like to avoid grocery stores. So those planters are going to go out onto the front porch. If you want to start seeds that are more transplant plants, which, a lot of the things like tomatoes and peppers and cucumbers and tomatillos and some of those, especially like the warm weather loving plants, those ones do really well if you can start them inside, because it gives them a really strong start, and then you transplant them out to wherever they're going to grow, whether that's your garden beds or planters or whatever you have going. So that's what we have here. And the way I usually start them, you can start them however you want. You could start them with a little bit of potting soil in egg cartons. I've seen we've used like toilet paper tubes that we've cut up into pieces. My favorite way, and it's not no waste, because it does come with these little kind of plastic casings, so it's not completely no waste, but it's these little guys. They expand when you put them in water, and then you basically plant the seeds in them. And I have one flat going right now. You can see it's in its own little greenhouse right now, and that's what those little peat pods look like. So You plant a few seeds in there. You kind of call them out as they grow, and then once they get big enough, you can repot them into their own little individual pots. Again, plastic, which kind of sucks. You don't have to use plastic. They also make like cardboard pots and things that you can use. If you do use things like that, take the cardboard part off the plant before you plant it into your garden bed, because those don't really, they're biodegradable, but they don't break down all that fast, and your plant will be much happier if you take those off. But the good thing about things like this is I reuse them. So I've reused these ones, I think 3 years now, and they hold up really well. So it's kind of whatever your preference is. The other big question is lights, obviously. These look really fancy, and I should say that this setup is kind of ridiculous for a single family. I just like to grow plants. And in the past, I have donated and sold a bunch of extra seedlings for our community garden. This year, I will probably be giving away a lot to friends and stuff who could use some plants to grow their own food this summer. So this is kind of ridiculous. You really just could start with one of these fixtures if you wanted, two of them if you want to get really fancy. These fixtures are just shop lights. They were $12 for each fixture from Lowe's. The bulbs were probably a total of, I don't know, probably 2 light fixtures, and the bulbs, I would guess, would cost you $50. If you just did one light fixture and the bulbs, it might be like $25. So really inexpensive. The other awesome thing about these is that they have these hooks that you can hook on to wire shelves like we have here. You can also raise and lower them so that the light is right above the plants as they are growing. That's the best thing for the plants. And yeah, so you can hook them onto wire shelves like we have. I've also seen people hook lights to the underside of big tables, or even like a bookshelf, like a wooden bookshelf where you can like screw hooks in and hang the lights from those. So you can get really creative with the space you have. These are 4 feet long, standard size bulbs. We have never had to buy new bulbs yet, and we've been using this setup for like 3 or 4 years too. So it's maybe an initial cost to do it, but pretty, it'll work for years to come. So that's all I'm going to share today. But let me know if you have any questions about our setup, our light setup. You are not behind the curve at this point. Now is the perfect time to start any of these seeds. And so if you want to get started and you have any questions, I'd be happy to help out. It's not rocket science. It can be a little intimidating at first, but once you start doing it, you'll realize that it's amazing, and you'll be just like me in a couple years growing way too many plants. So that's it. Be well, everybody. Love you. Miss your faces. Miss your hugs. We'll get through this. Bye.